Hi there, it's Jenny from Quick Anime Recap, and today we're continuing the part 2 of the anime, A Couple of Cuckoo. So sit tight and enjoy the video. The anime continues on a bright sunny morning. Erika finds Nagi lying on the couch, who says he don't want to go to school. However, Erika insists that Nagi goes, and he does. On his way, he reveals that he's depressed to go to school after Hiro rejected him because she is engaged. Arriving at the school library, Hiro meets him and asks him to study with her, which Nagi thinks she wants him to be her fiancé. Because he's so tense, Nagi excuses himself to the bathroom, but trips over his chair and spilling his shrine stamp book on the ground. And Hiro also had her shrine stamp book. So they begin to show off their collections to each other. Once the school bell rings, Nagi leaves for class, and Hiro says this is fun, and asks to continue having morning study sessions with him. In class, Nagi reflects on how awesome the day went. This leads him to believe that they will get married one day. Once the teacher arrives, he announces that they will have a new classmate. In a shocking twist, the new student turns out to be Erika. Later outside, Erika tells Nagi she was expelled from her old school because of the accidental photo taken of them that was uploaded online, as her school doesn't allow students to have a romantic relationship. And by her father's suggestion, Erika was enrolled in Nagi's school. Erika then changes the subject, telling Nagi to not reveal to anyone that they're engaged. After that, Nagi laments over his current predicament and overhears people talking about Erika. Nagi then heads to class and finds many students surrounding Erika, but nobody dared to approach her. Just as Nagi wants to talk to her, Hiro approached her and started a conversation with her. As Hiro leaves with Erika to give her a school tour, Nagi stalks them. He watches them as they're approached by a swarm of their female peers, who want to take pictures of them together. Nagi tries to grab Erika's attention throughout the day, but fails every time. At the end of the day, Nagi hopes to have the last chance to talk with Erika. However, it fails when Erika and Hiro decide to walk home together. And suddenly, Hiro starts to cry. Seeing this makes Nagi believe that Erika did something wrong. So he comes out and tries to defend Erika. And unexpectedly, is told by Hiro that she is a huge fan of Erika and couldn't help but to shed some tears of joy. Hiro then shows off many photos that Erika posted. Curious to know why Nagi knows Erika, she lies that he is a fan of her too. While they all walked home, Erika revealed that she had trouble keeping up in class due to how far it was from her old school. Hence, Hiro suggests that 3 of them should have a morning study sessions every day. Back to their house, Erika learns from Nagi that he confessed to Hiro, but was rejected. After learning this, Erika gives Nagi her opinions on the situation and offers her help to get Nagi in a relationship with Hiro. The following day, Hiro and Erika head to school, and instead of getting a ride from her driver, she takes a taxi as her way of being more independent. Still, however, both Nagi and Erika arrive at school at the same time. As the two argue for a bit, Hiro comes and sees the two together, which Erika then reassures that they did not came to school together. Erika then suggests that they head to the library and start studying, and Hiro agrees. In the library, Hiro and Nagi wait for Erika to return from the bathroom, and when she does, Erika dressed up as Cupid, which she tries to connect Nagi and Hiro together, but ultimately failed. Ditching the Cupid outfit, Erika suggests they continue studying. During their study session, Nagi tells Erika she should study 3 times harder to catch up. This leads to an argument between the two, and Hiro mentions that the two seem relatively close to each other and wish to be closer. So Hiro decides to visit Erika's place after school, surprising them. Following Nagi's advice, Erika has Hiro visit her parents' home, which Nagi excitedly waltzes around the house naked. That is until they arrive at the home, and a text from Erika reveals that her house is being renovated, so she had no choice. After getting fully clothed, Nagi goes around the house to collect his stuff to avoid having Hiro find out he lives there. When the two go to the pool area, Nagi trips and falls. And before Hiro could turn around, Erika pushed Hiro into the pool and fell in with her. Erika then apologized and suggested they take a bath. And Nagi manages to reach his room during it, but when he does, Erika and Hiro are startled by something. As it turns out, it was Erika's stalkers, and Nagi handily defeats them all. When it's time for Hiro to leave, Erika apologizes to Hiro for the accident at the pool, but Hiro pays no mind to it and asks to come again. Which Erika happily agrees to it, But before Hiro leaves, she spots Nagi's stamp book, and Erika lies that she mistakenly took Nagi's stamp book. She believes her and went back home. The next day, Hiro invites Erika and Nagi over to her house, and they're left speechless because Hiro lives in a shrine temple, and she's a shrine maiden. Immediately, Nagi wanted to get his book stamped and Hiro stamps the book for him. Afterward, Hiro invites the two to her study room, and her mother Asami serves them a slice of cake. Once Erika leaves to use the bathroom, Hiro reveals that her engagement was inheriting the shrine. As for why she told Nagi, she believed him to be appropriate to take on the burden. Back to his room, Nagi recalls what Hiro told him about the truth of her engagement, which leaves him in a flustered state. He then thinks that he'd take on the burden of running the temple with Hiro. Just then, Erika enters Nagi's room, and gives Nagi a paper for the upcoming field trip, which Erika manages to convince Nagi to attend. The following day in the school library, Nagi asks Hiro to be a part of his group for the upcoming field trip, and she happily accepts. Erika overhears this from outside the library. Later in the classroom, Nagi daydreams about all of the fun things they'll do together at the field trip. Afterward, Hiro and Nagi walk to the station together as it rains and talks about how Erika won't be joining them for the trip. They then talk more about Hiro's engagement, which she reveals was decided by her parents. She confesses that no one has ever won against her in anything before, and that it will be miraculous if someone were to change her fate for her, and asks that Nagi do it for her. Back at home, Nagi is pumped up, and Erika barges into his room to inform him that another student who's a fan of hers forced his way into their morning study group and field trip group. To help prevent the student from intervening in Nagi's time with Hiro, Erika announces she'll join the field trip as well. The next day at the station, they meet the student who forced his way into their group, Shion Asuma. Shion pulled Nagi aside to tell him about his thoughts and emotions about Erika, and then asks him if it was alright if he go after Erika, which Nagi allowed. Later, Shion takes some pictures of Erika for her social media account, allowing Nagi to spend time alone with Hiro. However, seeing Shion start to bond with Erika, Nagi is getting jealous and insists they move together as a group. At a restaurant, Hiro notices Nagi's strange behavior. But Nagi states he is just following his duties as group leader. By dusk, Erika and Nagi are alone at the beach. She asks Nagi to take a picture together, but he refuses. And this upsets Erika, leading to a fight between them, and again, Nagi accidentally takes a photo of them. Despite the mishap, Erika claims she'll keep the photo. Nagi then asks Erika who is the person she wanted to connect with, and she says that if she tells him, it may change his fate. The next day, Erika went out to run some errands, and while she is away, Sachi visits. And based on his attitude, she accuses Nagi of fighting with Erika, until he finally tells her his dilemma, and ultimately decides he will ask Erika who she is looking for. Surprisingly, Sachi decides to live with Nagi and Erika, claiming the rented room she shares with their parents makes studying difficult. At first, Nagi attempts to be strict with her but gets no support from Erika, who is glad to see Sachi. Once alone, Erika asks Sachi why she ran away from home, and Sachi admits since Erika appeared, she has been scared that Nagi will marry her, and she will never see Nagi again. Overhearing this, Nagi remembers their time together when they were a child. Forced to go shopping for Sachi's essentials, Nagi realizes Sachi and Erika are very popular with people. Back home, Erika insists on taking new family photographs including Sachi, and moves Sachi into her bedroom. After Sachi is asleep, Nagi finally talks to Erika and admits that he is not yet ready for his future to change, but once he is, he would like to know who she is searching for. Erika is amused he has been worrying about this the entire day, but agrees to tell him once he is ready. Thanks for watching the video. Still want to watch more anime recap? Click the videos on the screen to watch more. And don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest upload. Bye!